We're not just doing this for money, we're doing it for a lot of money. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. I hope you don't mind me PG-izing that Spaceballs quote. It's an old one, but it's also somewhat sketchy if you're the wrong person who likes the wrong things. So just thought I'd cater to that crowd for a bit. Now, we're going to talk about Lord Vader requirements. This isn't about Lord Vader himself, but the characters that are required to unlock him. And one thing I will point out, it has some hidden requirements as well that we're going to talk about a little bit. The Lord of Sand is an interesting individual. He's expensive, he's tough to get, but all of his requirements are so useful, and I want to tell you how they're used in the rest of the game. There are so many good uses for them. They are multitudinous and multifaceted. All kinds of it's like multi-tools, multi-verse. Like if you had lots of verses. It's really cool. This is actually part of a greater series here, guys. You can find, I'll link these in the video description. I have one for Kenobi requirements, Jabba requirements, and then even Starkiller requirements. You can see this is an older video. I've made thumbnails on my phone. Come a little bit of a ways here, folks. And I do want to point out as well, look at Lord Vader's requirements. He's the most expensive one. You can find this infographic and others on my Discord server. You can find it in the video description. The link to my Discord server, there's a channel toward the bottom called Infographics. And, I made this in January. It's the yellow thing says on the bottom. If you don't know your colors yet, then I would advise you to go tell your parents that you're watching this and ask if you can continue to watch it, because it's all extremely wholesome, I assure you. Now, the Lord Vader requirements are the most expensive, and but a lot of people complain about those. It's very well noted, well documented. They're expensive for sure. I'm not gonna gainsay that. I am gonna say they're probably, if I had to pick one galactic legend that has the most useful requirements, I would pick Lord Vader. However, he's even more expensive than his initial price tag would indicate. So let's talk about that in a minute. First, I want to tell all of you patrons, thank you guys so much for the support. I really truly appreciate all of you. Thank you for all the support. I'm just constantly blown away. Thank you guys. We're gonna improve the lighting here pretty soon. I think we're gonna be doing a pretty massive upgrade on lighting, and then maybe we even get a new CPU here kind of soon. I've been saving some money. Hopefully we can see some good changes on this channel here soon. And if you want to support the channel for free, guys, just remember to hit that thumbs up button if you wouldn't mind. Mount the algorithm. It's fun for everyone, the whole family even, if you take turns, or maybe not, I don't know. It got weird. Let's get over to talking about the requirements and then the order in which you should farm those requirements and the hidden requirements that I keep teasing. And it's very intriguing, I'm sure. Whoa, we're in the game? Madness. We haven't been in the game for so long. Hello, game. I missed you. This is so great to be in the game again, guys. Wow. Thank you for being in the game, watching me be in the game, because you're not in the game with me, you're just watching someone in the game. Alright, let's stop talking about it. Now, we've got Bad Batch first. Now, none of these are this isn't the farming order, this is just me saying, trying to group them in kind of like rational, logical order. And the Bad Batch are the ones that, this is 4 of Lord Vader's requirements. What is it, like 16 total, including the Y-Wing? So 4 of them, this is a quarter of his requirements. It's Hunter, Tech, Wrecker, and Echo. And then Omega is not a requirement, but you're probably going to want to farm her up. That, in a way, that she is a little bit of a hidden requirement as well, because you're going to have those Bad Batch, and you're going to want to use Omega. That's probably the best overall squad. Now, I will say that Shaak Ti goes really nicely with Bad Batch. There was a time period not too long ago where Mon Mothma was on defense quite a bit. I mean, I guess depending on where you're at in the game, Mon Mothma might still be on defense a lot, but the war was always this, folks. You can make your Echo pretty dang fast. You can see mine is faster than you should probably do, but I mean that's just how. I mean, I use him to cut too. You know, he has to be faster than the teams that he's trying to counter, and he doesn't have any boosts to his speed, and so 370 is a lot. However, Mon Mothma teams with Kyle Katarn can get an effective 400 speed super duper easy, and it's not, you know, it's not really a race. Like, Bad Batch just lose to that if you're facing someone with a half competent, like Kyle Katarn only has to be 280 speed to make him an effective 400. And so the thing is, for a while there, you couldn't really counter Mon Mothma teams without using something really good, or something really expensive like Jawas would steal a lot of banners, for instance. But one hack that I developed, and I mean other people were doing it too, but I feel like I'm probably fancier than them, so is you can use Shock T, folks, and the real straightforward, like the people who don't think outside the box are gonna think, the linear thinkers are gonna think 35 speed. Great, okay, so now you have a 405 speed Echo. That's still probably not enough, and most people can't get their Echo that fast, or can't afford to, just to counter a Mon Mothma team. Are you kidding me? However, the other really awesome thing, you don't want to use her as the lead. What you do is use her as for a unique. Whenever Shock T or a Clone Trooper takes damage from an attack, Shock T gains 20% turn meter. So what happens is Mon Mothma attacks, and they hit you 5 times because they all assist, right? Or I guess 4 times because Mothra's non-violent or whatever. But Shock T gains 20% turn meter every time, and that's enough for her to just go immediately. Then she can take her assault team move, and because Bad Batch are on the team, call all Clone Trooper allies to assist. Target ally is a Clone Trooper, who they all are. They gain 100% turn meter. So then you can hand the turn to Echo, who then starts their turn meter train, and you get the win. You don't have to ever fast, you don't have to ever do anything, but that's a really nice way to be able to make this teamwork, and you don't need Omega for it. One other thing to keep in mind, folks, is that Omega is not Galactic Republic. The rest of them, okay, so you can see some of the tags here. The other one you can't see is Attacker and Light Side, but you can see Galactic Republic is on all of them except for Omega. And her haircut, that's definitely not a Galactic Republic approved haircut. So both of these are, I mean, that's how I would run Bad Batch. In 3v3, you just take the first 3 here, folks. Wrecker can, in some instances, be more interesting than Tech, but almost never. And Hunter and Echo definitely go alongside each other. Okay, so Tuskens, for a while, this was the one odd man out. Tusken Raider was just worthless. He needs Relic 4, I believe, and it was like, well, yeah, okay, well, sure, like, the rest of the Tuskens have been slaughtered like animals, except for Tusken Raider, who was just the lone survivor. But now they have once again proliferated, and we have a chieftain, a warrior, we have an excuse me, and a Tusken shaman. A shaman. So go put them in that team and use them if you want, I guess. But don't look at my modding for my Tuskens, by the way, guys. It is abysmal. Now, Padme has a few different uses. In 3v3, I made a video called Gidme. Remember, Gideon is gonna interact with her courage ability really nicely. You guys can look it up. So I think the video is just spelled that way, Gidme. It's wonderful. And otherwise, this is the best version, at least so far, of the Jedi Master Kenobi squad. Now, I know you might not have Kenobi, but if you do have him, Padme probably just wants to hang out there. Otherwise, you can use like kind of a weird pseudo, like, an ancient era, like Padme with Anakin and Snips and General Kenobi. Like, basically, this whole squad, except without Cat, and you add Jedi Knight Anakin. So she can go a few different places. The Gidme squad is really nice. You can do it in 5v5 as well. And then, you know, probably just camp her out with Canopes. Now, General Skywalker actually is, at least his team comprises of 3 of his requirements. General Skywalker, ARC Trooper at Relic 8, and Echo. I think he's at Relic 7, maybe. So, pretty expensive squad, or requirements, honestly. General Skywalker, like, none of them are really objectionable, though. They're all fairly good characters to want to level up. And you'll want to get 5s up to higher relics than you would normally want to, I think, just for his ship reasons and because he gives stats to everyone. But I mean, this is pretty straightforward, guys. General Skywalker with the clones. I would not recommend Shock T with the clones and then General Skywalker somewhere else. He just doesn't. That's just his home. It's like the ball going into its hole in golf. Like, that's its home. Are you too good for your home? Now, Embo was another one who was kind of an odd man out. For a while, he had an Omicron. You could say I haven't applied mine yet. Eventually, I will, once I have more Omicrons at some point. But I recently made a video, actually, about how to use Hut Cartel in the Fates of Faction Essentials video. It's very recent to this one. But I stated in that one that Embo is probably the best 5th overall. I wouldn't say, like, sometimes you want Gamorrean Guard on the team instead, or sometimes you want Boba, whatever. But Embo, as if you just want to pick one character that's going to be best as the 5th character here, it's usually going to be Embo. The other 4 are fairly well cemented in. You can see mine's only Relic 7, while the others here are 8 or higher, but don't judge him, guys. He's already got a weird face and a flat head. So, I guess the other one that was a little bit of an odd man out was Count Dooku, and we just recently got Admiral Trench. Gosh, it looks like such an opportunist. I'm like, let's just wait until all these bad characters have a home. But it's nice because now I don't have to tell future groups untruths about where they can go. Admiral Trench. It's still, the jury is still a little bit out on if this squad is going to be great in GAC. In Territory Wars, it seems like it's going to be pretty decent, at least. Maybe not. As you can see, I have no confidence in Chancellor Valorum, and I also have no confidence in the Omicrons that would be applied to Trench. So we're going to wait for a little bit. The Territory War Omicrons, but Count Dooku on this team is outstanding. He is so good, actually, guys. Like, he is a really obnoxious a-hole, and he'll just keep stunning the heck out of your opponent and surviving forever. Really, really good in this context. Now, is this team worthwhile to take Watt away from, like, Sith Eternal, or Newt away from General Grievous, or Jango away from Mandalorians? I don't know. But if you're going to make this Trench team work, it is almost certainly going to be with Count Dooku alongside. And then Newt is another requirement, though he's got other places to be, folks. Newt is one of the better characters out there, despite the fact that he doesn't have a nose and you still have to pay gear for him anyways. It's well beyond a capacity, but one way or another, Newt can go with the Trench team, and you know, they want you to. Like, it has synergies specifically regarding Newt, and he's good there. He is also really strong with Grievous. On a team that does a crazy amount of debuffs, Newt does this really cool thing with his unique where every time a Separatist ally inflicts a debuff, they also deal 5% max health damage to that enemy, which can't be evaded. It is really nice. It's just passive damage. He doesn't even take that many turns. You can kind of just put your garbage mods on him. I mean, wow, why is mine so fast? My God, that wasn't like a humble brag. Even my garbage mods are plus 129 speed. He's gonna probably get pilfered here soon now that I know that. But Newt with Jango and B1 is a really strong team in 3v3, and actually this beats the Tusken team with like Scion of Jango and everything with the Omicron. This team saved me the other day from I was able to clear that Tusken team finally, after all my other teams had not worked out for me. Now, Zam is part of like what I would consider like the old school bounty hunters, even though like Omicrons are still a little bit relatively new, like they're over a year old, but still, like Zam is with her Omicron and GAC is giving her team like plus 70 speed at this point, so plus 80, depends on how much speed you have on her. It has very diminishing returns, so don't go all out on speed for her, but that also means that if you have them clocked right, which we have faction essentials that explain how to do that and everything, you know, and if you join Patreon, I actually have a calculator that will do that for you so that you can figure it out, because clocking it can be tricky. This team is a really great Alpha Strike squad. You know, you get your Bosk and your Grief up to 330-ish speed, so that they're all 400 speed, and they outspeed other teams. It's very fun. Now, Tarkin is the only one who doesn't really have a squad. You could put him with like Emperor Palpatine or Darth Vader or whatever. Like, he's an okay support character for Empire teams, but the thing that you really like about Tarkin is that his ship is very, very relevant these days. You really want his ship to be blowing people up because it's doing a lot of cool stuff. The Empire fleet counters every single fleet in the game right now. And if it doesn't, then I guess it would be like the Thrawn fleet, which, I mean, you need him as a requirement anyways. So but between Tarkin and Thrawn, you've got all your bases covered on one of your fleets. And so you want him Relic 7. Anyways, a lot of times you want him to have all 6E mods as well, and you want his Zetas, because the Zetas are... you need them to be able to outspeed a lot of the different teams that you're going to be facing. So there, yeah, Relic 7 on Tarkin with all the 6E and everything. Now, let's talk real quick about the farming priorities. First off, I guess let's talk about the hidden requirements, folks. And that's because Lord Vader is also a little bit unique in the sense that you don't actually, none of his requirements are characters that you will use on his actual team. Like, unless you go weird and use like Tarkin, which Tarkin wouldn't be good, but if you did, I mean, I guess that's an option. But you're gonna want, especially the number one, guys, is Royal Guard. And I'm just gonna give you this advice now. Like, Royal Guard is a Relic 3 requirement for Sith Eternal Emperor, so that's wonderful anyways. I would recommend getting him more. Most people just get him Relic 5 and call it good. He is orders of magnitude stronger when for every relic level you put on him. He is so much tougher to beat with, like, say, Imperial Troopers or something if you have Royal Guard at Relic 8 as opposed to Relic 5. Like, I mean, obviously he's going to be tougher, but just the amount of boost he gets per relic level is crazy, and he's actually, I'm considering him as my next Relic 9. I think I'm going to pause for a little bit just because we have a huge unlock event coming up soon, and I probably need to save my gear and relic levels for that, but I would love to get him Relic 9 because of how well he fits with Lord Vader. Thrawn is another one who goes hand in hand with Lord Vader, which is ironic because Lord Vader doesn't have any. Well, I guess he does have hands. Well, he has one hand. He has hand. You've got to hand it to him. He still has one hand before everything gets dipped in lava and falls off, and he becomes Darth Vader, suited, and he's not well suited to having hands, but he does go well with his predecessor, Lord Vader, and yeah, all three of these characters are really good with Lord Vader. I'm not telling you these are what characters you have to have, though. It is a very rare team indeed to have Lord Vader without Royal Guard. Almost always, unless Lord Vader is going solo, you're going to want Royal Guard. So those are kind of hidden requirements, because once you unlock Lord Vader, you can't just instantly use him unless you've already farmed up and worked on these characters. I mean, if you have Sith Eternal first, then you have them, but just something to keep in mind, folks. Koth, I hope you just felt a lot of suspense there. Now, in terms of order of priority for farming these characters. I think Padme is probably one of the most important ones because she is good early game and like all the way to end game. She's just really strong. She's fairly easy to unlock, and she can go with a lot of different teams. Very, very flexible, very good character. Now, I'm not going to tell you what order to relic these characters, just like rough approximate order in which you can farm them for the best effect. Now, General Skywalker and the 501st, I mean, they're their own team, and General Skywalker is still an endgame team, takes out a couple different galactic legends. These two, obviously, like, they do a lot of good damage. Of course, you do need the other two clones to go with them in order to be really strong, but General Skywalker is someone you should probably prioritize farming anyways. He's a very difficult dude to unlock in some ways because he has his own unlock event. So, once you get him, then the rest of it's going to be fairly easy. Now you've got Bad Batch here. The thing is, you get your own team. You get a full team, and a lot of times you're going to already have Shock T available, so she can fill in that fifth spot, or you can just run a 4-man team. Remember, if you don't have 5 Bad Batch total, then Wrecker can't do his 2-turn stun immediately. You have to ramp up his stacks. So, and that includes if you have Shock T. She doesn't count as a clone either. So that's why you want Omega on the team, is so that he can have an immediate 10 stacks and do his 2-turn stun right off the jump. Now, the other ones are kind of just mix and match. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but here's the thing, guys. If you have Jabba already, then work on Embo. If you have a decent bounty hunter team, you should probably work on Zam earlier than anything else. Tarkin is great if you have his fleet, but if you don't have his fleet, then you can just leave him to the end because he's no good to you anywhere at all, except for in his ship. But if you don't have the good ships to go with that fleet, then it's not worth it. Tusken's probably the last one that I would farm, or Dooku. I think Dooku, is he a requirement elsewhere? I'm trying to remember right now at the top of my head. One way or another, these two are probably the least urgent, just because Dooku, I mean, you just kind of bench him. Unless you have Trench, then, you can go on a few different pretty valid and decent Sith squads and comps, like with Traya, with, Malgus even is okay with him. But otherwise, like, he's not the one that you're like, oh man, I really want to have him on my team. He's like the guy you're like, alright, well, you're Sith, I guess I'll take you. And Tusken Raider, if you don't have the team, then he is worthless. If you have the other Raiders, then great. Then, feel free to use him, guys. Feel free to use him anyways, if that suits your mood or something. So, anyways, that's what it is. This is, a message from the sole arbiter of truth telling you to farm these in the exact way and use them in the exact way as prescribed. And there's no room for deviation, folks. Of course there isn't. Why would there be? It's not like we're here to have fun. So, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth Kid's about being the sole arbiter of truth. Take care, folks.